Hello future engineers, subscribers, viewers, and students. Here is another video in strength of materials. This is the sixth video. And in this video, I'll have to discuss moment of inertia of areas, then the product of inertia, and applications of combined stresses. So problem 5, application of combined stresses using the Mohr circle. So the bent bar has a uniform rectangular cross-section. Determine the principal stresses at point A, point B, and point C. So here is the figure. So first, let's resolve the force into its horizontal and vertical components to analyze the effect of these components to these points on the section. So we have 154.15 kilonewtons, which is 178 sine of 60, and 178 cosine 60 is 89 kilonewtons. So the moment at the neutral axis of the section is 154.15 times 0.25 meter, then plus 89 times 0.3. So that means the moment is equal to 65.238 kilonewtons. So first, for section A, the effect would be axial 154.15. So if we draw the force triangle, we have an axial tensile force of 154.15 at the centroid and the moment of 65.238 kilonewton meter. So that would cause axial tensile stress at A, which is equal to 154.15 times 1000 newtons divided by area 50 times 200. And for bending, if that's the sense of moment, then it is also tension M times C bottom, which is 100 divided by moment of inertia MC over I, 50 times 200 cube over 12. So sigma AX is equal to 154.15 times 1000 divided by 20 times 200 times 50, then plus moment 65.238 kilonewton meter times 1000 squared to convert that to Newton mm times C of A from the neutral axis, which is half of 200, so 100, divided by moment of inertia of the section, which is 50 times 200 cube over 12. So combining the axial stress is 200, the bending tensile stress and axial stress combined, or sigma AX, is 211.13 megapascals. So A is subjected to that. Then supposedly this 89 kilonewton component will have a shear effect to that section, but because A is at the bottom, there's no area below that point, below that level, so that means the shear effect of 89 kilonewton is 0. So remember, it is only maximum at the neutral axis for shear stress. So therefore, tau A xy is 0, and sigma ay also, there's no force that will stretch or compress the section. So that means sigma ay is 0, tau xy is also 0. So if that is the case, then sigma ax is the value of sigma 1, and this is the maximum. So sigma ay is 0 also, therefore we conclude that sigma a1, the maximum normal stress, is 211.13 megapascals at point A. Now we proceed to point B. There's no bending, 0, because it is the neutral axis, but there is axial effect, which is equal to this 154.15 times 1000 square over 50, 154.15 times 1000 over area 50 times 200, That's the only tensile normal stress at A due to axial force, sorry, at B due to axial force. Then bending 0 because this is 0. Then shear, there's now effect to shear 89 kilonewtons because it is at the neutral axis. Point B is at the neutral axis. Then the maximum shear stress at B is 3 times shear over 2 area, 2BD. By the way, the minimum normal stress at A is 0. So sigma Bx is 154.15 times 1000 over 50 times 200 plus 0. Bending, this is for bending. So 15.415 megapascals, while shear is 3 times maximum shear, which is 89,000 newtons, divided by 2 BD or divided by 2 area. So 3 times 89,000 divided by 2 BD. So 250 times 200. So tau Bxy is 13.35 megapascals. Along y, it's 0. So if we consider the element, this would be on the x phase 26 point, this is 15.415 megapascals, and shear stress is 13.35 megapascals. So it is counterclockwise, so this is treated positive. We now transmit this to the Mohr circle. So half of 15.415 is 7.708. 7.708. So this is 15.415 positive, and positive, remember, this is a positive direction of shear stress, positive 13.35 megapascals. So half of 15.415 is 7.708, or 15.415 plus 0 all over 2. So that's it. Then from here, we can now solve for the radius of the Mohr circle. Square root of 7.708 square plus 13.35 square, and that is equal to 15.415 megapascals. So the maximum normal stress at B, which is this, is 7.708 plus radius, and the radius is 15.415, so it is equal to 23.12 megapascals. The minimum is 7.708 minus radius. So sigma B2 is 7.708 minus 15.415, and that is negative 7.707 megapascals. Now we proceed to point C. So for point C, the effect would be axial, which is 154, which is 15.415 again, 154.15 times 1000 over 50 times 200, and bending moment. But the moment is, because C is above, the effect there is compression. So it is axial, then minus 65.238 1000 square, since C is 50 mm. So this is 50 divided by I. So sigma Cx is 154.15 1000 over 50 times 200, then minus 65.238 1000 square times 50 over 50 200 cube over 12. So sigma Cx is equal to negative 82.442 megapascals. Sigma Cy is 0, and shear stress is the same, 89. We now use VQ over IB here because C is at distance 50 mm above the neutral axis. So if we imagine a point here, a line through C, the area to be considered is 50 by 50, and the distance of the centroid of that area from the neutral axis is 50 plus 25, 75. So tau Cxy is 89,050 times 50 times 75 over IB. So moment of inertia 50 to 100 cube over 12. B is 50. So we imagine a line through C here, this section. So the area above that line, horizontal line through C, is 50 by 50. And the distance of the centroid from the neutral axis is 25 plus 50, so 75. Then this is moment of inertia, and the width of the section cut by that horizontal line through C is also 50. That's why B is 50. So computing tau CXY is equal to 10.012 megapascals. We then plot negative 82.442 and positive, that's positive 10.012. So this is 82.442 negative. So it is to the left of the shear stress axis. Then this is positive 10.012. So that's positive. If you imagine an element, that's positive. So counterclockwise about the center. Then the other point should be sigma y through C0 and shear stress negative 10.012. So this is the radius. 82.442 plus 0 divided by 2 is 41.221. So that's 41.221. We can now compute the radius. Square root of 41.221 square plus 10.012 square. And that radius is equal to 42.42 megapascals. The maximum normal stress occurs in principal axis 2, and that is negative 41.221 minus radius. So sigma C2 is negative 41.221 minus 42.42, and that is equal to negative 83.64 megapascals. The maximum normal stress is compression, 83.64 megapascals. Then sigma 1 is tension, and that is 41.221 plus negative 41.221 plus radius. So sigma C1 is negative 41.221 plus radius 42.42. So sigma C1 is 1.199 megapascals tension. So that's it for this video. Problem 6. The figure shows the cross-section of a standard angle 100 by 80 by 10 structural steel and equal angle section. Compute the maximum moment of inertia along the principal axis passing through the centroid of the section, the minimum moment of inertia along the principal axis passing through the centroid of the section, and the angle of inclination of that maximum moment of inertia, centroidal moment of inertia, or the angle of inclination of the principal major axis. So this is the given angle section. I'll divide the section into vertical triangle and this horizontal triangle. So this is the dividing line, so that area 1 is this vertical triangle rectangle 10 by 100, and it is equal to 1000 square millimeters. Then the horizontal would be 70, 80 minus 10, so 70 by 10, and it is equal to 700 mm square. So the total area is 1007. By Varignon's theorem, let's have the centroidal coordinates, call that the centroid, so xg and yg. So 1700 times xg equals 1000 times 5 plus 700 times 45, where 5 is half of 10 and 45 is, because this is 70 divided by 235 plus 10, so 45. xg therefore is equal to 21.47 mm. Likewise, 1700 yg is 1000 times 50 plus 700 times 5. 1000, then half of 150 plus 700, half of 10, 5. So yg is equal to 31.47 mm. Then having found the centroids, we can now compute direct centroidal moment of inertia with respect to the centroidal x-axis by transfer formula. So for area 1, it is 10 times 100 cube over 12 plus area 1000 times quantity 50 minus yg 50 minus yg quantity square. So 50 minus 31.47 quantity square. That's the distance between the centroidal local axis of rectangle 1 and the centroidal axis, horizontal axis of the entire area. Then plus for this rectangle 70 times 10 cube over 12 plus 700 times quantity yg minus 5 quantity square. Yg is 31.47. So calculating IGX is equal to 1.673 times 10 to the 6 mm to the fourth. Then IGY is equal to, so this is the axis, is equal to 100 times 10 cube over 12 plus 1000 times xg minus 5 xg minus 5 quantity square. Then plus 10 times 70 cube over 12 plus area 700 times quantity 45 minus xg, this is xg quantity square. So calculating IGY is equal to 0.953 times 10 to the 6 mm to the fourth. While the product of inertia, we transfer it to the centroid. So remember that for areas with at least one axis of symmetry, the moment of inertia, the product of inertia with respect to the centroid is 0, but there is still area x, barred x plus barred y. So only that component will be transferred to this. So it is equal to product of inertia Ixy, I sub g xy is equal to 0 plus 1000 times this is the centroid with reference to this. So the centroid with reference to the centroid of the entire area is negative 16.47, where negative 16.47 is negative 21 point, negative quantity 21.47 minus 5, because that's 5. Then plus 0 plus 700 times positive quantity 45 minus xg. 45 minus xg is 21.47. So the centroid is here. So the distance of the centroid of area 2 from the y-axis is 45. Then that is xg. So 45 minus xg. 45 minus 21.47 is 23.53. The centroid of rectangle 2 is below the centroid of the entire area. So that distance is yg 31.47 minus 5, negative because it is below. So negative 26.47. Calculating ig xy is equal to negative 0.7412 times 10 to the 6 mm to the fourth. We then plot igx 1.673, then IGY 1.673 comma negative 0.7412. This time, the positive product of inertia should be upward. Positive IGI or IG would be rightward. So 1.673, which is this, and negative 0.7412. So this is the first point. That's the centroidal x-axis. Then the other point is IGY, which is 0.953, which is also positive, and positive of this value 0.7412. So the center would be 1/2 of quantity 1.673 plus 0.953, and that is 1.313. Then 1.673 minus 1.313 is 0.36. That is also the same as 1.313 minus 0.953, 0.36. So we have a right triangle here. That's 2 theta 1 because this is the principal axis. So we denote that by principal axis 1. And this is the radius. So radius is square root of 0.36 square plus 0.7412 square. The radius therefore in mm to the fourth is 0.824 times 10 to the 6 mm to the fourth. So having found the radius, we can now compute the maximum centroidal moment of inertia, which is 1.313, then plus radius. It is here. So Ig1, which is Ig max, is 1.313 plus 0.824. So it is equal to 2.137 times 10 to the 6 mm to the fourth. Then Ig minimum, which is here, which is Ig2, is 1.313 minus radius. So 1.313 minus 0.824, and it is equal to 0.489 times 10 to the 6 mm to the fourth. Then the angle of inclination of the principal axis from the centroidal x-axis to the principal axis 1, it is counterclockwise and that is positive direction. Tangent to theta is 0.7412 divided by 0.36, so theta 1 is equal to 32.05 degrees. So that means for the calculation of maximum centroidal moment of inertia, that axis to the centroid is inclined 32.05 degrees from the centroidal x-axis, which is horizontal. So it's like there. So for the minimum, you just add 90, so 122.05 degrees. So that's it for this video.